Welcome to the Exam Study Expert Podcast, helping you ace your exams at school and university through the psychology of high performance and the science of studying smarter, not harder. It's my pleasure to introduce your host, the Cambridge-trained memory psychologist and exam success coach, William Wadsworth.
Hello and welcome back to the Exam Study Expert podcast. It's time to welcome you to a brand new season of the show. We're back with new weekly episodes every Sunday, right through to June next year. To kick things off in style today, here is a collection of 24 of my favourite tips and tricks to instantly level up your study game. These battle-tested tactics will help you save time, become more consistent, and learn smarter. They're quick to share, quick to apply, and above all, will be quick to start giving you powerful gains. I really think any one of these could seriously move the needle for your effectiveness as a scholar and for the results you get as a result. I actually shared these 24 tips in an email way back at the start of the year, and it was one of the most popular emails I've done in a long time, so I thought it'd be fun to share the list here on the podcast with you too. By the way, if you don't get my emails and would like to, head to examstudyexpert.com/join. I share some of my best bite-sized tips over email most weeks. That's examstudyexpert.com/join. One quick word before we dive into the list. You may well be familiar with some of the ideas here, particularly if you are a regular listener to the show. I would just say to be a little bit cautious with the sense of being familiar with an idea. In particular, watch out for the trap of confusing knowing about something with actually doing it. So if there's a good tip here that you know you should be doing, but you aren't actively doing it, see that as a trigger for investigation. Get curious. Why is this the case? Why do you know this is a good thing to do, but you're struggling to actually put it into action? This is an interesting finding about the gap between what you should do and what you're actually doing. Investigate this curiosity, almost as if you're a scientist. Put it under the microscope. Ask yourself questions. What's been holding you back from putting the idea into action? Can you have any insights about what the barriers are? Are there any ways you could overcome those barriers? This is the kind of deeper work that will really help you take your study strategy to the next level for the best possible results in the most time-efficient way. I'll be back at the end of the list with a little exercise to help you translate as many of the ideas as possible into action for you, so we all take as much away from this episode as possible. So with that introduction out of the way, let's dive right into 24 of my favourite study tips. Number 1. Before you sit down to work each day, take a moment to write down your top priorities for the day. What is your to-do list specifically for the study session or the day ahead of you? Do this exercise even if it's completely obvious. Do this even if you've already got a main to-do list that captures all your tasks for the days, weeks, months ahead. Write out, again, what you are going to do now, today, or this evening. Put it in a sensible order, put those tasks in a sensible order, and watch as those tasks melt away as you fly through them. Number 2, if you already know what you want to do tomorrow, consider leaving the book open at that page or opening up the relevant software programs or browser tabs on your laptop so it's all ready to go. You can flow straight into the work when the time comes with no friction at all. You might be surprised how powerful that little trick is. Number 3, turn your phone off when it's time to study. Number 4, you don't need to study every topic the same number of times. Prioritise your time on topics that will give you the highest return in terms of extra marks on the time you invest in them. These could be weaker areas, so simply areas that you've got a lot to learn left. They could be quick win areas, perhaps areas that you used to know quite well and could quickly get back up to speed with. Or maybe they're simply high yield topics, those topics that tend to come up the most in the exam. Number 5, know what time you want to stop for the day and make it your goal to earn that stopping time. Earning your stop time acts as a powerful reward, incentivizing you to stay on task and overcome procrastination. Number 6. Put your alarm clock on the other side of the room to force you to get out of bed if waking up is hard. And if even that doesn't work, that's probably a trigger to ask yourself whether you're getting enough sleep. And if not, try and do something about it. Number 7, relatedly, don't sacrifice the sleep you need to fit in extra study hours. It may be a tempting shortcut today, but it's going to cost you in the long run. Number 8, try studying somewhere new this week. Go to school or college, go to your place of work before or after hours, visit a coffee shop on your commute, or perhaps check out a local library. The right location can often unlock huge gains in your focus and productivity. Number 9, if you can't physically change your location, try at least changing your mental space with what you watch or listen to. For example, you could put on a study with me video to simulate studying with others and the social incentives you get from that. Or, if you like the vibe of being in a library but cannot get to one, check out the Sounds of the Bodleian playlist, which offers a nice choice of soundscapes recorded in Oxford University's main library. Number 10. If you don't feel like an A-grade student, pretend that you are and act accordingly. Ask yourself, what would that student do? It could be an imaginary student, or it could even be a real student. Either way, ask yourself, what would they do? What would that A-grade student do? And act accordingly. Number 11, meditate. Number 12, if it's affordable for you, consider treating yourself to a small upgrade on your core stationery. Spend just that tiny little bit more to get a slightly nicer pen, or upgrade the thickness of the paper you write on. Watch as your study experience becomes much more luxurious in feel, and you're more motivated to study as a result. Number 13, track how you spend your time. Heed the old truism that what gets measured gets managed, and try measuring how many productive hours you manage to fit in each day for a period of time, and watch as that number of productive hours creeps up almost by magic as you start to find ways to optimize, play the game, and maximize your score each day. Though also bear in mind tip numbers 6 and 7 about the importance of getting enough sleep. Number 14, stuck? Try taking a walk. Number 15. If you can't stick to your plan, try a less ambitious study routine for now. Focus on consistency first, even if it means scaling your ambition for how much you want to study way back, and then start to build back up towards your target once you've got consistent. Number 16. Don't check your email or inbound messages, text messages, WhatsApp, other social apps, until 11 a.m, or at least until you've completed one critical thing from your to-do list. And honestly, that last one is magic, and due credit to the blogger Tim Ferriss for that one. Number 17. Try keeping a tangents list if you find you keep getting dragged down rabbit holes that don't support your core study goals. So, as you're studying, have a little piece of paper to one side and write down all those extra readings, side questions, little ideas you have, and so forth that you don't have time to investigate right now. And then you can set aside some dedicated time, perhaps each week, to review the priority items from this list. Maybe make a couple of hours at the end of the week to go through any interesting tangents and indulge in researching them a little bit more. Or if time is tight, then you can simply make time for your tangents after the exam or once your big assignment deadline has passed. Number 18. Talking of big exams, taper your training like pro athletes do. Try to aim to study a little less in the days immediately before an exam, particularly the day before, so you conserve your energy for the big day itself. Number 19. Don't wait until you feel ready to start doing full-timed closed book practice papers. This is a great way to check where you're at and to sharpen your focus on what you still need to do to reach your goals. Why not schedule taking on a full paper for the next time you have a chance, maybe this coming weekend? Now, for our final 5 tips on the list, I'm going to assume that you have heard of the principles of retrieval practice and spaced learning. We talk about them a lot on the podcast, but if you want a primer, you can check out episodes 46 and 47. So tip number 20, have 1 point per flashcard. I want to see thick stacks of cards, each of which has relatively few words written on it. No mini essays on the back of your cards, please. Number 21. For a quick way, an instant way to create flashcards, try using sticky notes to cover over key diagrams, tables, or points in your textbook. Pop a question on the front of the sticky note, and hey presto, you've made an instant flashcard that you can use for retrieval practice. Tip number 22. Put sticky notes around the bathroom mirror or by the kettle for things you most want to remember. You may have come across this tip before. It's a little bit of an old chestnut. I remember reading about it when I was studying for my exams as a teenager. But my twist on it is to put a question on the front of the sticky note and then put the answer on the reverse of the sticky note, written upside down. So now you've got a lift the flap question answer sticky note that is ideal for regular retrieval practice every day as you're brushing your teeth or brewing a cup of tea in the morning. Number 23. Whenever you're doing your retrieval practice, once you've remembered everything you think you know, give it 10% more time. Stretch yourself and see what else you can come up with. If you don't know the answer at first, give it just that little bit longer. See what you can find. If you're doing a set of reps in the gym, is it the first rep or the 10th rep that gives you the best results and the biggest gains? Answer, it's the 11th. So treat the same principle with your studying. Give it that extra 10%. Stretch yourself just that little bit longer. Rummage around in memory that little bit more deeply. See what else you can come up with. That's the most powerful phase of the memory workout. And finally, tip number 24. If you only kind of pick up one thing from this set, I'd love it to be this one, particularly if you've got a lot to learn for exams. Start every study session with a short stint retesting yourself on what you did in your previous study session. It's a fantastic way to get consistent with the all-important spaced learning principle of revisiting and retesting ourselves on things at spaced intervals. So there we have it, our 24 tips for this episode. My question for you in conclusion is, which are you going to try first? If you want to get more from this episode, as soon as you can, ideally now, I'd recommend grabbing a sheet of paper and dividing it into 3 columns. The first column is the keep doing column. The middle one is the do more column, and the right-hand one is the start doing column. So keep doing, do more, start doing. Then try and write in as many tips as you can remember from this episode into the columns. Doing it from memory is a nice way to pull the ideas out of your memory and help them to stick. That's the principle of retrieval practice. So let's apply it to learning how to learn as well as learning your content for your exams. The keep doing column is for anything, so that first column, that's for anything you are already doing well. It's a reminder to keep up the good work. Well done you. You're already on the right lines. Let's keep going with that. The middle column, the do more column, is for things that you may have perhaps experimented with or been a little inconsistent in up until now, where you know you've got room to go further. The start doing column is for new ideas that you're going to put to work for you right away. Next, once you've captured all of the ideas you can, well done if you get to all 24, but I'd expect most people fall a little bit short of that. Your brain is a little more likely to remember the things that you found the most interesting and therefore the most helpful to you. So don't worry if you don't manage to get quite all 24 from memory. You can always go back and re-listen to the episode. Once you've got everything written in your 3 columns, let's zoom in on columns 2 and 3, the do more column and the start doing column. Take a look at the things you've written in each column and circle at most 2 tips from across the 2 columns. So that could be 1 from each column or both from the same column. These are the ideas that jump out at you as being the most helpful, the most kind of quick win, the earliest and biggest bang for your buck. These 2 ideas are your priorities to put into action this week, maybe even today, right now, the next time you sit at your study desk. Finally, find an action you can take right away to make those actions concrete, to turn it from an intention into actually you've made some progress on starting the process of working on that idea. So some ways to do this. You might actually schedule something in your calendar to remind you to do a certain idea. Maybe you make a booking. Maybe you buy a book. Something you can do to set the ball rolling right now in the moment when you're fired up about the idea so that you remember to do it later. And remember, if you'd like to go deeper in your journey on studying smarter, there are a couple of good routes to work with me. The Study Smarter Network is my self-study option, a premium club for students and scholars of all kinds who are serious about their success. Members get access to an on-demand Netflix-style library of video lectures from me, as well as select guest lectures, breaking down all you'd ever need to know about effective learning, time management, mindset, exam technique, and more, as well as on-demand access to me for your questions and personalised support. So as questions arise about how to work effectively, any challenges you've got around making progress, you have me in your pocket via a simple Q&A app. Learn more at examstudyexpert.com/network. Or for the fastest results, you can work with me one-on-one as your exam success coach and mentor. We'll break down every aspect of your exam prep, from how you learn and remember information, to how you've got your routine set up, to your game plan for working through the exam itself on test day, giving you the best solutions for your specific circumstances, your specific preferences, helping you shortcut to the ideas that are going to make the biggest impact for you, given your specific context and the challenges you've got today. I love coaching clients who are preparing for exams, and I'm pleased to report an extremely high success rate. I was looking back, and I've now coached well over 200 clients, which is a huge honour, and every single one of them has been an absolute joy to work with. And of the 200, I can only think of a couple that didn't meet their goals. So 198 out of 200 met their exam goals, and in many cases they were working toward very competitive exams, and in some cases they'd even had a history of failing that exam once, twice, 3 times before. And then we managed to finally get them over the line by optimizing their study strategy, how they approach their preparation, as well as how they take the exam itself on the day. You can read some of the success stories and hear some of the kind of delight and relief from my past clients in their testimonials at examstudyexpert.com/coaching. And if you yourself would like to have a story of success of your own, you can follow the buttons on that same page to schedule a consultation where we can have a bit of a chat about your situation, how things are going for you, check we're a good fit for each other, and talk about how I might be able to help you. And if so, we'll come up with a plan to help, to work together to help get you the results you're looking for. Again, that's at examstudyexpert.com/coaching. And finally, if you're a school, learn more about my student workshops and professional development training for your teaching staff at examstudyexpert.com/workshops. Thank you so much for listening today. I will look forward to seeing you next time when we'll be taking a look at the science of making great notes. Wishing you every success, as always, in your studies.
Just before you go, did you know you can hire William as your very own coach and mentor to show you the stress-free way to ace your exams by studying smarter, not harder? Find out how at examstudyexpert.com/coaching.